Hey guys, so good evening. We're back once again for another deep dive on the markets. This time I want to talk about something that's very, very interesting, something that a lot of you guys have been asking to me as well. And we're going to delve and we're going to go about what is the value of Bitcoin. That being said, before I continue, I want to know your thoughts. Put it in the comment section below. What do you think the value of Bitcoin is? Because I think from where we are right now, it's something that's very, very polarizing. A lot of people think that Bitcoin does not have any value. Bitcoin is internet magic money. That how can it have some? How can it have something? It's just made of the internet, and that's what I want to discuss today. I want to give different models on what it could possibly be. And I want to share also my thoughts and my ideas on what the value of Bitcoin is. And I want to share this that the price of Bitcoin today, as of the time I'm recording this video, is somewhere around 40,000 US dollars. So it has been fluctuating somewhere above and below that, around 39,000, around 40 plus thousand US dollars for one Bitcoin. But here's the thing: what we see right now is this is the market price. This is the price that one person who has cash is willing to buy Bitcoin for, and this is the price also for people who own Bitcoin that want to sell it at that particular point in time. This is what they believe the price of Bitcoin should be. At That's why it's called a market price. So it's from the school of thought of technical analysis. The market price is basically its value at that point in time, that it's neither overvalued nor undervalued as well, from a point of market sentiment. And that's why people actually transact at that price, because that's what they believe it's supposed to be worth at that given point in time. That being said, also, if you try to compare it to other things that people are buying, think about paintings, think about Rolex watches, think about liquor that's very, very expensive as well. The cost for all of those things, paintings, Rolexes, liquor, is really not as much. It's not as much, but people are buying it based on the value that they perceive on what it is and what it could also be. And please remember, and I've been saying this over and over, that there's scarcity in Bitcoin. And that's what makes it very, very interesting for the long term. But that being said, I'll share more of that later. But I want to give you specific ideologies on where people are coming from. And I think no, all of the uncertainty in terms of analyzing what's the actual value of Bitcoin is brought about by it's something that's so new. It's something that, okay, we don't actually know what it is yet. Majority of the world doesn't know what it is yet. Unlike if you compare it to gold, gold has been around for thousands of years. If you compare it to the stock market and other items, it's easy to value it because uh, you have specific models already and it has been around for quite some time. Unlike Bitcoin, it has only been there for like um, more than a decade now. So its value really for a lot of people, they haven't really seen what it actually is. But let me also put it this way: that if you try to look at land, if you try to look at a specific area, how do you know that a, a, a square meter of land in Boracay should be more valuable than a square meter of land in, say, Siquijor, or say Palawan, or say some parts of Leyte, since they're just in almost the same proximity? What gives Boracay a more expensive valuation than that particular area? And you could go on and on and on, talk about the development, talk about the white sand beaches, talk about what's going in that area, talk about that it's a tourism hotspot, talk about that there's more people wanting to go there, and that's all good. But if you put it into perspective, that's also all perceived value, and that's what we have right now at Bitcoin at 40,000 US dollars. That's the amount of US dollars that majority of the people who are transacting Bitcoin believe it's supposed to be worth. So there. Anyways, let me just continue with this, and then let's follow. This is where it is also from a chart perspective, and as you can see, it also that if you rely purely on the day-to-day movement, you rely purely on sentiment, of course there will be fluctuations, there will be gyrations, because it's pretty much based on supply and demand. It's pretty much based um, on buyers and sellers. And as you can see from the charts, more sellers bring the prices down. And that's what we saw from a high of 64 plus thousand in April to the lows of where it was at some point a couple of weeks ago. And as you can see also right now, we're starting to see it bounce because a lot of people started to bottom pick as well. And then same thing, more buyers bring the prices up. And that's the common narrative when you look at the chart. So number one, the price is brought about by what people believe it is. And the thing about that is whatever item that it may be from commodities, currencies, also the price is determined by what people perceive it to be, in the same way as what I've mentioned in Rolexes and paintings and also liquor. It's also perceived value. And that's what we're seeing from the price. And that's what we're seeing also from what the charts are telling us as well. So let me continue. I hope that this is something that's helping you, and I hope that this is something that's giving you value. That's why I think it's so complicated, because when you go to the stock market, you have models like PE ratio where you can get its relative valuation based on its earnings per share, or you can get it based on its book value, meaning you can compare it based on its earnings, or you can compare it based on its assets, or what, or the things the things that are inside the business. If you look at the PB ratio, or for dividend investors like me, we can check, okay, this company is something worth buying right now because the dividend yield that I would get from it is something that's already very attractive for me. So I think there's certain parameters that you could put when you enter the stock market that would allow you to know if it's cheap or expensive. And that's what PE ratio would do. That's what PB ratio would do. That's what dividend yields also would give people as a reference, if the price right now based on the dividends that they would get is cheaper or not. And in the same way, you can also compute for what its future value will be, depending on, there's so many models. I'm just putting here DCF and sum of parts because these are some methodologies that people are using. So but I guess what I want to say also in all of this is that even though that there are established models in this, there's still a level of subjectivity. There's still a level of estimation here. Uh, there's still a level of someone who's more conservative will give a lower value versus someone who's more aggressive in their computations as well. So even in established models for markets that we have seen for hundreds of years already, there's still a level of subjectivity attached to it. So you have the price, which is pretty much based on sentiment, perceived value, and then you have different valuation models, valuation tools, which is also pretty much based on a level of subjectivity. So the reason why I'm saying this is that when you enter into the cryptocurrency market also, and people will say that there's so much subjectivity in it, there's so much estimation, there's so much forward looking, that there's so much events that may lead to this and this for it to arrive for this particular value. In the same way, for the stock market, there's still a large amount of subjectivity, and there's a large amount also of perceived value. So I just want to put that in the table, because in the same way also, think about it for corn, think about it for wheat, think about it for oil. When there's a shortage of oil, oil becomes more expensive. When there's a shortage, for example, think about bangus in a palengke, magkaroon ng flooding, sumobra ng bangus, bababa yung price. So that's what I'm actually saying here. In the same way, that's how you could actually also look at Bitcoin. Think about it. When you look at fish, if there's an oversupply of fish, prices go down. But for Bitcoin, think about it. The supply will always be fixed. So if you look at it from a long-term perspective, it kind of makes sense that, okay, if a lot of items that we are buying for decades and hundreds of years, they have been going up in value, even though they don't have a limited supply, we have not run out of it yet, and people are still using it, but their value keeps on going up. How much more for an asset? And there's so many financial institutions that have labeled it an asset, and it's not just me saying that it's an asset because I want to say it's an asset. There's so many other corporations, institutions that are labeling it as an asset already, and of course there are also people that are not labeling it as an asset altogether. But as an asset, it's fixed, it's limited in its supply, and of course, it doesn't mean that it won't go down on a day-to-day basis, but look at it from a macro perspective, look at it for the long term. It's something that's super valuable. CAPA supply. anything that's limited becomes super valuable. Think about the Pokemon packs, the cards, etc. Anyways, this is one methodology that people are using in terms of the value of Bitcoin. People use the stock to flow model, and I'll make another video on this to discuss this fully because I think there's a lot to unpack into this. But you can research on the person who created this or who people are referencing also when they talk about the stock to flow model. You can follow Plan B. Check out his Twitter account. He's the one who primarily pushed this and made this mainstream. So basically, this is the chart for the stock to flow model. Again, I'll make a deeper dive into this, but what it's actually saying also right now is that if you're looking at it per se, the value of Bitcoin right now using the stock to flow model should be around the 95,000 US dollar level. And if you go for where we are right now, we're at the 40,000 level and there's a deviation. And I want to show this also to all of you that even if you follow the stock to flow model, you could actually see that in 2011, it deviated from the stock to flow model. 2014, it deviated from the stock to flow model. At some point in 2019, it deviated from the stock to flow model. And for where we are right now, also, it's currently also deviating. But if this holds true, the current value of Bitcoin right now, based on the stock to flow model, should be around the 95,000 US dollar mark. That being said, somewhere around 2022, 2023, 2024, the value of Bitcoin should be around 100,000 US dollars. Then after the next halving period, it's pegged to be around a million US dollars post 2025. So that's where also a lot of people, if you've been hearing a lot of people saying that, oh, Bitcoin's worth $1 million, this is one theory behind it. This is one model behind it as well. So based on the stock to flow model, Bitcoin should be worth 95,000 US dollars right now. Over the long term, it should be worth more than a million US dollars. Anyways, I'll make a deep dive on this kung saan to galing. Next one. And this is what I've been talking about a lot also in my videos, that I've been talking about the market cap of gold, primarily because, as you all know, there's a lot of schools of thought for Bitcoin. You have people who think that it's the currency of the future, and you have a lot of people who think that it's a holder of value, it's a store of value. And with that principle as a store of value, with that principle as an asset, with that principle as, okay, I could buy Bitcoin and think about it also as gold, that over a stretched period of time, it will beat inflation. It will beat just holding it into cash. If Bitcoin is likened to digital gold, if Bitcoin is likened to something that could exhibit massively better qualities than gold, then in all intents and purposes, it should somehow challenge and beat the market cap of gold. So one thing that we could actually do is check what the market cap of gold is and then see where Bitcoin is. And that's where you can start to interpolate and see what the value of Bitcoin could actually be. Because if the market cap of gold is this amount and then Bitcoin is here, for Bitcoin to reach that market cap, what would be its price at that particular point in time? And I just want to submit this idea to all of you that if we believe that Bitcoin is what we say it is, if we believe that Bitcoin is digital gold, better store of value, easy to secure, easy to transport, easy to send from one person to another, and it has massively better characteristics than gold, then I think it's not just for us to gun for the market cap of gold, but it should be higher than what the market cap of gold should be. But for this video, I just want to peg it lang that it slightly goes above the market cap of gold. And please do note this, we don't know how much gold there is in the world, but we do know that Bitcoin is limited. So let's continue. So the market cap of gold by the time I'm making this video is around 11.45 trillion US dollars. So market cap of gold, its price multiplied by gold out there, you have 11.5 trillion US dollars. That being said, if you look at Bitcoin, its market cap right now given that it has corrected, please do note at some point in April, May, we saw Bitcoin hit around $1 trillion. But since it's around the 40,000 US dollar mark, its market cap right now is at 0.751 trillion US dollars. So that being said, if Bitcoin wants to take a shot at gold as the number one store of value, its market cap should be at least more than 11.45 trillion US dollars. So from 0.751 trillion US dollars, it must go up around 15.3 times for it to be able to at least challenge the current market cap of gold. So gold 11.45, Bitcoin 0.751. Bitcoin must go up 15.3. That imputes a value of around 459,612 US dollars. And if you've been watching my earlier videos, I've been saying that, okay, I think it's worth around 500,000 US dollars. And this was one of my bases for it, because I really believe that as a store of value, for it to legitimize itself, it must actually go above gold. And if you think about it also, how do you compete for the value of gold? How do you compute for it? How do you compute for the intrinsic value of gold? And people could talk about its industrial uses, but at the end of the day, the value of gold is imputed by its scarcity. The value of gold is because it's hard to get. The value of gold because it's not as abundant as other minerals or other metals out there. That's what its value is. That's where it's derived. That's where it's coming from. So in the same way, it's almost similar to Bitcoin in that particular aspect. So for Bitcoin to surpass and beat gold, it must go up 15 plus times to go to around 459,612 US dollars. And please do note that for that to happen, it requires a large amount of money, but it requires also a large amount of, number one, institutions. And I think there's been a lot of models and studies behind it that, okay, if X percentage of the largest companies in the world allot a portion of their balance sheet to Bitcoin, a portion of their balance sheet to Bitcoin as a store of value, then that places buying pressure into it that helps rise the market cap. So please do note that for the market cap of Bitcoin to go and attack gold, it's not just retailers just buying this anymore. It should be corporations adding it to their balance sheets, and above and beyond that, financial houses adding it as well and taking it as an asset class. And right now, we don't have a lot of companies there yet. So for it to actually go up and push up to that level, there has to be a wide degree of acceptance for it. So as of now, I think there's around 2% of the population in terms of exchanges and wallets investing in cryptocurrencies. That's not a lot. And imagine if we go to 10%, we go to 20% of the population into this, retailers, plus institutions, plus corporations adding it into its balance sheet. And I've been saying this in a lot of videos that we're not going backwards into this anymore. What do I mean by that? That we're not going backwards. The longer Bitcoin is, the more accepted it will be. And I'm one of them. When I started out, I didn't really believe much into this, but the more I studied into this, the more I realized that it's actually technology. It's actually digital asset. It's really an asset class. So anyways, so another way to look at it is, I think this is the bare minimum, at least, for us to be able to see what the value of Bitcoin is as well. So please do let me know, guys, if you're enjoying videos like this, because this is dragging quite long, and I don't make as long videos as long as this anymore. But I want to know your thoughts, if this is something that's helpful and this is something that's beneficial to all of you, because if it is, then I'm gonna continue to make more and more and more. So one of the ideologies is to look at the cost to mine Bitcoin. And please remember that if it's not profitable for miners anymore to mine Bitcoin, then they stop mining. And if they stop mining, then of course, if lesser people mine, it becomes easier also for the algorithm of Bitcoin is that if there's a lot of people mining, it becomes harder to compute, and it requires more power. But if lesser people also mine, it becomes easier and then the cost also becomes lower. But that's another story altogether. I'll try to make a separate video of that as well. But I just want to show this to you that uh, two variables, and I know there's a lot, but I'm just making this a bit simple for everyone. That of course you need equipment, one ASIC miner, and then of course electricity. So what I'm putting here is, and these are averages. It will be different where you buy it, where it's gotten. So I'm just going to give you a range, and given also specific prices of electricity. So I just want to put this, that the lifetime cost to mine Bitcoin, given an ASIC miner, lifetime cost, meaning also you won't be able to use the machine forever, meaning at a certain point it's going to give out, and then you will have also the need to buy another one. So it's around 15,000 to 19,000 US dollars per Bitcoin over its lifetime. And please do know that these are hundreds of machines or even thousands of machines put together to be able to mine Bitcoin. But averaging them up, one machine could get you around one cost of a machine to mine one Bitcoin is around 15,000 to 19,000 US dollars. So if that's the base amount, at least know from where we are right now, Bitcoin should be at the very least not lower than 15,000 US dollars, because the cost to be able to mine it should be imputed in what the price is. In the same way, where gold miners sell their gold, they impute their cost, the people, the manpower, the electricity, the machines that are used also to be able to mine it, and then they put their margins there, and that's the price of what they will sell it for. So I hope you get the context of that. That if you're basing it on this, anytime it goes lower than 15,000 US dollars, then it becomes a massively cheap discount, in my opinion, because the cost alone to be able to mine it far exceeds already from where it is. I mean, from where it is right now at 40,000, for the cost to mine it shows you that okay, it's profitable for the miners, but in a way also that the lower it gets, the lower it gets, I think it won't be as low as that or even go lower than 15,000, primarily because it has to be profitable also for miners, for them to continue also their activities. But I just want to say this, that we've seen large swings also in the market, but please do note also that when halving occurs, it slashes the rate at which miners can get it, and every 4 years it becomes lower, and the lower it gets, the more valuable Bitcoin becomes, because the lesser miners could actually get when they mine. Anyways, so what do I think? Of course, there's a lot of variability into it, but I'm under the context of Bitcoin is digital gold. I think Bitcoin will surpass gold, and over the long term, I think that it could go beyond the 500,000 US dollar mark. But please do remember this: not to buy just because I talk about it here, not to sell also just because I talk about it here. It's your money, it's your responsibility. Please take the time to learn. Please take the time to do a deep dive on this. Talk to your financial advisor, study it. Please don't just analyze, don't just buy just because you hear it off your friend or YouTube. Your money, your responsibility. But in my opinion, I think over the long term, it will gun for the market cap of gold. I think over the long term, that because it's so scarce, that think about it, there's 7 billion, 8 billion people in the world. If you get 10% of that, that's 700 million. You get 10% of 700 million, that's 70 million. So even if you get 10% of 10% of the entire population, it won't be enough for everyone to have at least one Bitcoin. That's what I'm saying. So if you have at least one Bitcoin, that means that you are way ahead already than a large chunk of the population, because since it's so limited, and then madami pang, there's so much Bitcoins that's currently lost right now that people don't know where to get it, where to find it. Um, there will be lesser than 21 million Bitcoins that people could actually own. And that being said, as time would go on and 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 on, Bitcoin will just be more valuable. And I know that there will be a lot more cryptos that will come out. There will be a lot more coins and tokens that will also come out. But as you can see, even up until now, more than a decade, Bitcoin dominance is well and strong, well and good. And because it's so scarce compared to other cryptos that can be created more and more. There are some cryptos with unlimited supply that they can just come out and out and out and out. People, investors will reference Bitcoin still as the gold of the entire crypto space. So it's not just gold for everyone, it's also the main honcho in the crypto space as well. But anyways, I want to know, what do you guys think about all of this? Let me know. Put it in the comment section. If you guys have other questions, put it out in my Patreon at Marvin Gurmo if you want to support me. And also, if you have questions, you can DM me there, or you can DM me also in Instagram, or put them in the comment section below. And if you guys want to know more about the crypto markets, links are in the description below on how you can open an account with Binance. And you can also open an account with GoTrade if you want to trade the US markets. And if you want to also invest in Forex, you can check out XM below. XM gives out $30 extra for people who want to start, and you can use that amount already to trade. If you want to know more about technical and fundamental analysis, we have courses, fundamentals next month, August. Then we also have a technical analysis course happening this October and November, and I think that will be the last one for the year. So there. And then if you want copies of my books, they're available via Shopee. Links are in the description below as well. And I guess that's it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that this is something that was fruitful and beneficial for all of you, and it gave you tremendous value. So this is Marvin Gurmo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.